Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV and welcome back to the Friday Night Social on the 5th of June. And where we've got, we're missing a guest. He's not on tonight, but had a few technical issues. But we've got Karl on in Washington, we've got Alan in Melbourne, we've got Martin in Manchester, we've got Tom and we've got Chris, who we'll just see how they've all been doing over the last week since we met last week. So I'm going to come to Alan first in Melbourne. How are you, mate? And how's your last week been?
Oh, hi guys. Week's been okay, been a bit quiet. I went in the office on Monday, then got told to leave the office on Monday because, as you know, the state premiers decide what happens and whatnot. And Dan Andrews, who's the state premier, decided to extend the lockdown for another 3 weeks as far as working in the offices. So I ended up having to leave, then coming back here and working for most of the week. And then he gives a sanction to have a demonstration today, this morning, at 11 o'clock this morning, for tens of thousands of people in relation to the obviously the American guy that got killed by the copper. So that's going to be quite interesting. He's basically blocking mass gatherings, but allowing that. So everyone's kicking off here about that. So that should be quite interesting. So there we go. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've just had that certainly in London in particular, it's caused quite a lot of debate, let's say, about the whole thing that's gone on. But anyway, apart from that, you didn't get fined, did you, by being kicked out of your office?
They just told me to go home, which I did. And myself and Steve Bardsley, obviously Steve helps run the sports club. He's the secretary. He's the main guy, really. We're organising a TV coming into the Imperial on Thursday morning at 5 a.m. for the Arsenal game, because the pubs are open for 20 people only. Okay, but you've got to have food. So the landlord, the guy called Lee Browley, he's actually from Heaton Chapel in Manchester. He's unfortunately he's a rag. He's opening the pub up, the TV coming in, so they're filming us while we're watching the Arsenal game on Thursday morning. So we're charging $20 for coming in because we've got to bring the chef in, and he's cooking breakfast for us while watching the game. So that's Thursday morning, this Thursday, 5 a.m. at the Imperial Hotel on the top of Burke Street. So I'm just giving it a plug there. So anyone in Melbourne that wants to watch City game, you need to contact Steve Bardsley through the Facebook page.
Well, they're only allowing 20 in.
Yeah, so first 20 come, first 20 can go. And 20
well, 18, because you and Steve are going to be there. So 18.
Right, yeah, me and Steve
exactly right. Alan, you mean next Thursday? A week on Thursday?
Week on Thursday, for the game. Yeah. For the game against Arsenal, a week of Thursday, So that should be different, to say the least. So I think a lot of people want to start watching the games again. So I'm just giving it a plug on here. I said to Steve I would do this morning.
Super, brilliant. Chris, going to bring you in, mate. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm all right, Tar. Another week inside. Just Groundhog Day, like I said before. Nothing happening, but everything's calm. So, everything's fine. Just watching the madness going on in the world, really.
Yeah. Well, at least you're safe, mate. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Tom, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good this week. I got on Monday lots of work from my sixth form that I'm going to. So this week I've been doing quite a lot of work. So good to get a little bit of productivity back to the agenda rather than working out 24/7. So it's given me a little bit more to do over the weeks, and just a little bit extra for me this week. But everything's good in my household. Yeah, everybody's good.
Your dad's good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, in his office. Because he doesn't go up at the moment because he's still working here. In his office, there was the boiler exploded in his office, and they could hear it from 3 miles away. So they had to evacuate everybody out of the office, and they're not allowed back in because there's a fear that there's asbestos, so they're not allowed back in after the first week. So everybody's safe, but it sounded like there was a bomb going off according to some people at the office. But everybody's all right.
Bloody hell. Karl in Washington, how are you, mate?
Good, Andy. It's been a difficult week. I spent the week trying to be productive, and so I've had a couple of shows online on Facebook with some of my friends who are white, talking about how we can jointly begin to solve the problems that exist within racism and discrimination, and really getting to understand. So I have a unique position because I wasn't born here, and I was actually born in England, but I immigrated here from Nigeria, so it's a different perspective, right? There's a perspective of the African Americans who are here, and also we Africans who come here as well. So there's a different perspective, and so for me, is understanding what the issues are and grappling with that and trying to build a bridge. My role is trying to build bridges between whites, blacks, Asians, you name it. That's my role. That's what I want to try to do. With all the darkness that's happened, the good thing is if you look out on the streets, you see all kinds of people protesting. Whites, blacks, Asians are out there protesting against the brutality that we see from the police, which needs to stop, in my opinion. The flip side is that with the coronavirus, my concern is that, with all the gatherings and the protests, and that's going to spread again. And how do we now control that and measure that? So it's been a tough week, but I feel better today than I did last week because I see there are some trends that are happening in terms of the right direction. I see the young people coming out and protesting, doing the right thing. So I think we're better off today than we were last week. And hopefully this becomes we begin to make changes and moving forward. So I'm always optimistic.
Has the violence stopped?
Well, so it's cool. It stopped. No, it hasn't stopped. It's slowed down significantly. I'm not one who likes violence or who likes the rioting. I think it's counterproductive. It should never happen, in my opinion. I think it makes no sense. It doesn't help anyone, right? So that needs to stop, and I think it stopped significantly. There are still some outbreaks in different places, but majority of people right now are protesting in a peaceful fashion, holding out placards and walking down the street. What disappointed me was the action of the man who is currently occupying the White House. The other day was just, firing tear gas to the crowds and then walking to the church with a Bible in the hand. That was just, it was unbelievable. It was surreal. But hopefully, people's eyes are open now. And in a couple of months' time, this won't be our case anymore. That's my hope. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I've got my own thoughts on the whole thing. I said, I watched a video of the poor man's death, and it was absolutely disgusting. But on the flip side of that, I watch the scenes in the UK, and I see them desecrating war memorials and throwing stuff, and I just think that's not equally as disgusting because it's somebody's death, but I see people beating up shopkeepers and just for trying to protect their property, and they're getting jumped on by 20, 30, 40 people, and I just think that's as disgusting as what the whole perpetrators did to that poor guy. And I think it just loses sight of the message that people are trying to put out there, and I do believe that the large majority of these people are anarchists. They're just out, they're not there for the humanistic point of view of protesting for the rights of, what's happened. They're just to cause anarchy and that type of thing just loses the message for me.
Ours today, Andy, which is going to be in Melbourne and Sydney at the same time. It's mainly about the Aborigines. Which is they do get hassle off the coppers, and they've got a reputation for kicking off. So
I've lived out there, and I know I've witnessed it. I've actually witnessed it because when I was out there in the early 80s, mid 80s, they had a thing. I don't know whether it still happens, that they were given a home, and the first thing they do is burn it down. I don't know whether that still occurs, but it's such a delicate area. It really, really is, and I don't think violence and anarchy, it just dilutes the message, and it's such a shame because if people protest in the right way and have the right message, and then the message is stronger. What it's doing now is people on the outside are looking at this, going, why are they spray painting a war memorial for people who have lost their lives against tyranny?
Yeah.
These people fought against tyranny to give you the freedoms, and what you're doing is you're spray painting a memorial to those people who did that. And you just think, the people who are trying to get the right message out there must be sort of going, oh my God, what are you doing? But hey, it is what it is. Martin, how are you, mate?
Fine, just my leg's having a bit of a spasm at the minute. One sec. It'll get back in a minute.
Your head's having a spasm. Oh,
no, my leg is.
Oh, your leg is.
Yeah.
I thought you said your head is having a spasm.
Was earlier.
Is it all right?
Yeah, it'll get there. My week's been, obviously I can't go too much into it, but it's been an all right week. It's been a funny week. I'm just back to it on Monday, I suppose.
You hope.
Yeah. Obviously we went to work. It was fine. It was a bit weird. Then we just find out that the R rate's gone up to 1 today.
Yeah.
Tameside have closed all their schools, and it's just a bit scary at the minute when you find out the R rate's back above 1.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting sort of 7 days, I think. How the government handle this now. The R rate has gone to 1,
is that national or is that just north of England?
Certainly in this area, not in the northwest in particular. Well, the north, I should say, not just the northwest, the north, because they were.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wait and see. I mean, it might just go down to what we were talking about a few weeks ago, and get the first games out of the way, and then say, oh, it's too dangerous to play, and then let it sort out.
My money's on that.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it will not surprise me. But anyway, we're going to move on to this part 1. And there's one question tonight that was certainly made the headlines all over social media and on some TV channels and things like that, and certainly in the media. And it was first highlighted, I think, late last night or early hours this morning in the Times in the UK. And that was about the Man City 1894 group. And they made this banner. And they didn't tell you anything. They just said it was going to be a secret location where they were going to display this banner for the first time. And it was about UEFA. And then it was revealed sort of around about 9 o'clock this morning that it was first off in Heaton Park. And displaying it there with a drone camera and everything else. And people stood with blue flares and whatever else. And then on Cheesy's channel, Forever Blue, he was following them, made a video on this, and then they took it to the Etihad Stadium where they unfurled it there as well. All social distancing, I might add. They were all plenty of feet apart from each particular person. But I then looked on social media after watching the video, discussed it with Martin this morning, and there was a significant negative reaction by, I would say, the large majority of Man City fans about the banner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys what were your initial thoughts I'm assuming you've all seen it. Has anybody not seen it?
I've not seen it yet. I heard about it. I've not seen it.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll message you. So I'll bring in Tom and I'll message you over the. While Tom's discussing it, I'll message you over, Alan, the images of the banner.
One second, see it from here now. UEFA flag.
I've just sent over. There was one. I've just sent over one that was at the Etihad and one that is from the drone, and that's the actual. There were several banners and things like that all put together. But I'm going to come to Tom first. Martin's suddenly gone. I don't know where Martin's gone. Alan. I'm going to bring you back in, Alan. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here now.
Are you there? Okay, so just sent that across now. I'm going to come to Tom first. Tom, what were your initial thoughts or anything you've read on social media about this banner?
Well, I do know certain people inside the 1894 group, some of the younger guys, and I knew this was happening. Obviously, they wouldn't tell me whereabouts it was happening for many different reasons. But yeah, I was happy to see that they'd done the protest like they said they were going to do. Obviously, all the banners that were produced were actually supposed to be for the Real Madrid game. They were going to be placed in and around the south stand levels 1, 2, and 3. Mainly 1 and 3 because of the incorporating in between the two stands. I know there's a lot of negativity about how they've produced the banners and what's on them, but I think it's a good way to mock UEFA into how much of a joke they are. Muppets, the Muppet Show is supposed to be a comedy, and that's what the 1894 group have produced. A banner that produces and shows the comedy of how they're run. So yeah, I'm obviously on the slightly different side to many people on social media and think that it's a good thing that they did it, and I think that it was a good idea.
Okay, Chris?
Well, I think the sentiment's good. I'm not so sure about the actual design. I think it's a bit too busy, not particularly punchy. And I think that's what a banner should be, really. I think if it was unfurled at a game, I think it'd be very distracting. I think you waste the first 10 minutes trying to decipher what was going on it, But, I don't want to really knock the lads at the group, 1894 group. They're trying the hardest and everything. But, I thought the main design, the big banner, I think the design could have been a lot better.
I mean, that was my. I must admit, when I first saw it, and I was waiting and then I saw the drone cam of it, I was looking at it for about 20, 30 seconds thinking, what is it? What is that? I couldn't understand what it was, and I had to freeze and zoom in and so I could try and see it. And then I saw some pictures of it and obviously realised that, Kermit and others on there. And you have to also bear in mind that, the Muppet Show was 20 odd years ago, and is everybody going to get who they are? I mean, I must admit, I can't even remember the names of, is it Fozzie Bear, or I can't remember what he was called. I mean, I was never a Muppet Show fan anyway, but I looked at it and thought, oh yeah, I can see where they're coming from. But yeah, I mean, that was my first initial reaction. I looked at it just thinking, I can't, what is that about? But Karl, you've seen it.
Yeah, I saw it. The idea of the protest is good, no doubt. I do like the small banners, the ones that talk about where were you when we were, SHIT, and where was FFP basically when we were SHIT. I like those, but the big one kind of lost me. It just seemed for all that money, just seemed that we lost the plot. It wasn't, again, punchy enough. And Chris mentioned being punchy. It wasn't punchy. It didn't raise your eyebrow and get you to think. It just seemed comedic for me. I would have thought we would do something really punchy that would grab the attention, especially with all that's going on right now with the cast and the players leaving. Something that would, get people on our side to say, this is wrong. This is basically almost a lynching, if you would, of a club because they have money or because they have a certain ownership. That's what I would expect, not the comedic factor. So I think they miss an opportunity, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned because like I said, the flag is split up into there's one big massive one, and then I think there are several ones underneath. One of them, which is the FFP, where were you when we were shit, basically.
Yeah.
And I get that because I mean that is punchy, but I've got another image, and it was outside the Etihad, which is only about the blue part of it, and it says power, corruption, and lies. UEFA mafia corrupting football since 1954. Now
I like that one. I like that one. That was really good.
I just think that's all you needed.
Yeah.
It says everything in that one banner. I think most people are taking objection, and it's not an objection to it. It's just the like you said, the comedic value of the Muppet Show thing just sort of dilutes the message. Going back to what we were talking about before with the Black Lives Matters thing and everything else, it's almost like a step too far, and it's like, well, it wasn't funny, and it was just a bit. Because that banner in itself, and you look at some of the banners that are across Europe about UEFA, you look at the German league and some of their banners about UEFA, wow. I mean, they are, and there's hardly anything on them. There's a statement, but then there's things like pigs' heads and pigs in troughs, and just that's it. And that's just goes, oh my God, that is, by some graffiti artist. And you just think, oh yeah, whoa, that is a powerful message. So I don't know. I mean, I think what Tom said is right. I think that the make, and Chris said it, I think that the reasons behind the banner, and we have to remember that banner was, like Tom said, it was made for the Real Madrid game, and it's just been, I think, kept in situ, and because it's been called off and there's no chance, and City wouldn't. It's interesting, Tom. I don't know how far you can go with this, if you know the people who are involved in the 1894 group, because I don't know them, but would City have allowed that banner into the stadium? That Muppet one, would they have allowed that into the stadium?
I think so, because it didn't have any swearing on it. I don't know about the other ones. Probably if they didn't say, but like that guy who got it told to take his banner down at half time. That's Don. Don was the guy who actually created the Muppet Show. Yeah, Don is the artist who created the Muppet Show thing. He actually designed that. Because he was involved with them. So it was him who came up with the whole thing. But I don't know. Maybe City would have allowed it in the stadium. I'd be very shocked if they did. Well, by all accounts, they were going to put it in the stadium, weren't they? Yeah. They allowed them to protest on the car park. They said, go ahead with it. Only a certain amount of people, because they didn't want to get done for breaching social distancing rules. But I think they probably would have laid it inside the ground, because it'd only been up the smaller ones for a minute or two to show a strong statement. But apart from that, I can't see why City have had a problem with it, because they was backing the club and against UEFA. So
the club actually. I mean, I think we're right in saying, or I'm right in saying, is that the club actually worked with the 1894 group. Yeah. So it's not like they are, this separate entity. Club do speak to the club, don't they? About this.
All the derby presentations and all the flags that you see in the south stand there, that's all done with the club, because obviously there's certain guidelines and fire restrictions that they have to go by to allow stuff in the ground and things like that.
Alan, I sent you over the two images. One was, if you did, I'll just let everyone know, I sent him over the aerial shot of the Muppet Show thing, and then the one outside the Etihad. They had the Muppet Show one there, but the actual picture that had the banner that says that power, corruption, and lies, UEFA mafia corrupting football since 1954. So they were the two people who are watching this back.
I've just looked at, I put money towards this 1894 banner. I got an email ages and ages ago asking me if I would contribute, and I did. And I was in favour of the banner. Probably the time. My only query is the timing of it might be a bit iffy, because we're going in on Monday. The last thing we want to do is wind them up, right? Is wind them up even further, right? And be more defensive against us. I probably would have waited till after Wednesday. Next week.
I mean, to be fair on that point, though, we're not going up against UEFA. We're going to CAS, aren't we? So who are supposed to be independent?
Yeah. Well, we don't know if that is the case or not, do we? To be honest. Yeah. So as far as the banner's concerned, I would have liked the punchy one. Like something UEFA mafia badge and corrupt criminals written right across it, because they are. And as far as I'm concerned.
Might have been some lawsuits. Might have been some lawsuits incoming to the 1894 group into Gordon Criminal.
I know, but the one you sent me, the more punchy one, the Muppet one, not 100%, is very, very. It's funny, but it's too busy. Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring in Martin. Martin, you've seen it. We spoke about it this morning, and I think you mentioned it on your live vlog, I think, earlier this evening. So what's your thoughts, and what was the feedback on the live vlog over the well, I said, we're just discussing this. We're not calling out the 1894 group. We're just discussing it because it's been all over social media. I mean, it's still all over social media right now.
Problems. It's causing a lot of problems on social media.
Why? What? For
There's
what reason?
Blues arguing with each other over it at the moment. A lot of Blues arguing with each other. It shocked me a little bit, actually. The way fans are going at each other.
What's shocking me is what you're doing with your hand there. All I can see is this. Sorry, just needed to lighten the tone there a minute.
The thing I will say though, Andy, I know what Tom's saying about allowing the banner into the stadium. I was next to that bloke who had the VAR banner.
Yeah.
You've never seen stewards move him so quick. And I mean, move him. I was literally one row from him.
I remember we discussed it, didn't we, on one of the vlogs and things.
Yeah. So I find it a little bit two-faced if that's is that City saying we'll sort of bow down to Sky TV then with that one. I don't know, but all that was a VAR banner, and you couldn't get that down quick enough. And the way the stewards were with him was absolutely disgraceful. So I just find it a bit two-faced how one banner's allowed on, one banner's not, really. But hey-ho. But yeah, I'm the same as everyone else. I think the message is bang on. I'm with Alan. I don't agree with the timing. I think we're just pouring more petrol on the fire at the moment. Look where we're going on Monday. Yeah. We do not need to be winding these up anymore on Monday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, because all this is UEFA aren't going to look at that and go, all right, then we'll stop doing it. UEFA are going to go, we'll make sure you get done on Monday.
Well, it's not UEFA, it's CAS.
Well, yeah, I know, and yeah.
UEFA can't do any more about it because they've already submitted the whole case and charged us and give us our punishment. The whole thing with CAS on Monday is an independent inquiry whereby we get a chance to put our case.
I think it's going to get sent back to UEFA anyway. So
yeah, I mean, possibly. Some would argue with that. You know, if this is your finals last stand, then.
Are we going down? Is that what we're doing? Are we going down with it?
Well, maybe City have maybe I don't know because I'm not Tom. I don't know whether Tom can say or he can't say. I don't know because I'm not on the inside of the 1894 group. I don't know the guys involved, and maybe City have said, "Yeah, bollocks to it. You know, do it." Maybe City have approved this timing of doing it. Yeah. We don't. That's never been discussed, and it wasn't on the videos or anything I watched today with Cheese's vlog. There was nothing to say that City had sort of said, yeah, go for it. Nothing like that. But I'm quite surprised that City have actually allowed it. If you guys are all sort of saying, most of you in agreement that it seems the timing of it seems a bit strange considering we're going on Monday. Well, City have allowed them on their property to display this. So otherwise City would have just said, no chance. You're not coming on here. Go away. So it seems a bit odd that some City fans, including us, are going. Well, it seems a bit dodgy timing. Yet they're on City's property displaying this today. I don't know, Tom. Do you know any more on this? I don't know. If you don't know, mate, it's fine.
No, the only thing I could possibly think of, because I don't know the ins and outs of it fully, but I think the only reason why they did it now is just in case on Monday something does happen against us. So there was sort of a bit more of a protest now to show it a little bit before the actual case happens, rather than it being during it or after it when something's already happened, because the banners were already obviously for a few weeks back for the Madrid game. So I think that's why they did it this side of the CAS hearing. Yeah.
I'm going to just throw one last thing at you to end this part one, and this is. You've heard my opinions for months and months and months. You've seen the interviews I've done with journalists and all sorts on FFP and UEFA and everything else. So I'm not going to go down that route again. But somebody, a City fan, did actually comment. I was reading a load of comments on this whole thing, and like I said, there were some fans who were saying, well, fair play to them and doing this, but the large majority were just going, no, it's wrong, it's embarrassing. No wonder fans take the piss out of City, and you see this type of stuff. But somebody did write on there, and I looked at it and thought, yeah, fair point. And he said on there, can you imagine if City actually are found guilty and have actually done something wrong? And then you've got all this going on. And it's proven that City have done something wrong. Because I think most City fans, deep down, if they really look deep down inside of them, will probably go, have we been squeaky clean? Really squeaky clean? And this is just all the big bad UEFA? I certainly don't. I think there's something there. Whether it's done for whatever intentions or not is another thing. But I just read it and thought, they've raised £8,000 to put this banner up, and then we go and get a 2-year ban thrown back to UEFA, and UEFA went, go piss off. I ain't negotiating with you. You're getting 2 years, and that's it. Take it to the Court of Human Rights for all we care, and they kick it out, and we get a 2-year or 3-year or 5-year ban. I don't know, Alan. I don't know whether you've got any thoughts just to end on this.
I agree with you, to be honest with you. Because, I've looked at it, and we've looked at it over here.
Yeah.
It's Bardsley, and I can't see us being squeaky clean. I can't. I think we've bent the rules and tried it on, and we got away with it with the first sanction, and then they found out that we've potentially lied to them. That's what it's about. And that's why they've given us 2 years. I'll tell you that now. And if we have lied to them, and that money has come from the Sheikh, then we're in trouble, big trouble. It'll put the club back 10 years. Next week, next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is the biggest 3 days City have had in 20 years. Yeah, it is critical. It's critical that we get off this charge, because if we get found guilty, it'll be catastrophic for the club. And not only that, the worst for the fans, being called a cheat is nothing worse.
We already do.
Either which way, they're going to call you a cheat.
It hurts. I get very calls with that. It
hurts.
Okay. We'll come to Karl. You come in, and I'll bring Martin in, because Martin's going to say something then.
The reality is that in top flight football, there's no club on the earth that does a thing 100% correct. No club. You can talk about Bayern Munich and Adidas and T-Mobile and what's going on with Qatar. You can talk about so many examples. So I'll wait until the judgment comes. But even if, let's say, they give us 2 years ban, okay, we'll just restart again and carry on again. It is what it is. We just have to suck it up and rebuild and move back and do what we need to do. What if they give us a 2-year ban? We come back next year and win the title. Then what happens then? So
I think players will leave, mate.
What happens is I don't think Pep will be here.
No, well, let's say they leave. Let's say they leave. But that was Pep here.
But I mean,
he wasn't here.
I mean,
was Pep here when Pellegrini was there? He wasn't there.
I'm sort of in the camp of both. I'm in the camp of both of you, because yes, I think it could be. I don't know if catastrophic is the word I'd use. I think it'll be massive. And it'll cause a lot of problems. But I also agree with Karl in a way that's saying, well, look, the club will always be here. We've been here. We were here before. The fans were here before Pep, and we won titles and trophies and things before Pep and things like that. It would be a massive step back, I must admit. But we'll see. Chris, any thoughts? Just finally.
Well, in terms of the banner and this, I think the banner is there to protest about UEFA and FFP, isn't it? It's not, I don't think what they've done is going to embarrass the club, or embarrass fans. You might not like it, but if you're saying you're embarrassed by it, then you're being a bit pithy and petty about it, if you ask me. You might, whatever happens with CAS, it's been since February, negative press for City all along, and we needed to draw a line under this, and I absolutely agree with Alan. Actually, the being cold cheats as fans when all we're doing is supporting our football club, I find that really that gets my goat. And if that has happened, you know, then the hierarchy at the club have got some serious explaining to do to us lot.
I agree. I totally agree on that final point.
On a positive note on it, and just say we get found guilty and Aguero, De Bruyne, everyone departs. We just, like you say, we might not win the league for a couple of years. We start again. This is the time to bring in the youngsters. Tommy Doyle, Phil
maybe.
Let's look at it as a positive then.
Yeah. But on the flip of that, we don't want to be banned.
Oh no,
we don't want to be banned just for the sake of having youngsters in the team and things like that. We want to be banned because we deserve to be banned if that's the case, and we have done something wrong. You know, and if we have broken the rules and it's been proven, regardless, because it doesn't matter if we get a 2-year ban and it's negotiated to 1 and it's this, that, and the other, and we're still guilty. We're just negotiating a lesser ban. We're still guilty, and we have to accept that, even though it'll really, really stick in everyone's throats. Even if we do think, well, it's nonsense, it's a right load of bollocks, you know, it'll stick in your throat, the fact that, because every other opposition fan will just go, there you go. You were guilty. You've been found guilty. You've negotiated a 1-year ban. You're still guilty.
I'll tell you what,
you know,
the last thing City fans want, it's the last thing City will want, because they're losing fans over coronavirus. If the fans then think they've been lied to, they'll lose more fans.
Oh, they will. A lot.
Really screwed. They might end up really screwed here. We might be playing in the empty ad by the end of it.
Well, you mean you've got? I mean, no, I think the City fans will still turn up and things like that. But I mean, you've had VAR, you've had coronavirus, you've had the Premier League, you've had this, you know, changing rules and things like that, and behind closed doors, and that's pissed people off. And then you'd have this on top of it. Go on, Karl.
But Andy, we all assume that UEFA and even CAS are going to be fair. That's the assumption, that they're going to be fair. And there are no underlying issues behind the reason why they're pursuing us as a club. Right? We're assuming they're going to be fair. And that may not actually be true.
Well, we don't know, and none of us will ever know, because we won't be in that room, and we won't be privy to all the evidence probably for a long time and everything else that comes afterwards. But we're hoping. That's all you can do, isn't it, at the end of the day? Right. Just to finish off part 1, going to ask you just one last question, and I just want a very quick answer, a few words. What do you think will be the outcome of the CAS appeal? So you've got options, haven't you? City win it, and there's nothing. You've got a 2-year ban. You've got go back to UEFA, and you've got we go to the Court of Human Rights, get away with it. That type of answer. That's all I'm after. I don't want a big why and everything else. Just what are your thoughts of what will happen? And I'll come to Tom first.
City win based on the fact that all the stuff that the board have said to us as the fans, saying how they were innocent from the beginning of when it was announced. So I'm going with the club and hopefully believe in everything that they've said.
And that's coming from the CAS appeal.
Yeah.
No, we don't take it any further. That we will win it outright at CAS.
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay.
And then hopefully we can start singing, instead of City when United lose, City when UEFA lose, and then we can mock them for many years to come. That's what I'm hoping anyway. There needs to be some light at the end of the tunnel, for goodness sake. You know what I mean?
I'm with you on that one, buddy, without a shadow of a doubt. Alan?
I think it'll go back to UEFA and there'll be a compromise deal.
So you're thinking maybe a 1-year ban?
Yeah.
Martin?
My heart answer is we go back to UEFA and we negotiate. My head, I think we'll get a 2-year ban.
Okay. Karl?
I think City will win it.
Through what means? CAS
I think
the Court of Human Rights?
I think CAS. I think the evidence will be clear that we've done nothing wrong or nothing unusual to what other clubs have done. And the source of the evidence was also not admissible in a court. And I think they're going to throw it out.
Okay. Chris, you've got the last word, mate.
Yeah, well, I think we might win it, actually. I just go back to the fact that all along we had an opportunity to strike a deal up with UEFA, with Infantino, and we declined that because we were insistent we'd done nothing wrong. So it would seem daft of the club to jeopardise, getting kicked out of Europe for 2 years if they truly believe they have done nothing wrong. So I'm hoping that's the case, that we have done nothing wrong and that we can prove that at CAS. I'm fed up with it, mate. Yeah, I'm fed up with it. I want it over.
Yeah, I know. Well, next week's gonna be a big week. It's gonna shed a lot of light on what's going. If they hear it next week, next week,
there's a lot of things I want over right now.
I know. Go on, Karl.
The only thing that gives me hope, Andy and guys, is the word arbitration. Right, when you go to an arbitrator, normally what happens is there's a compromise, there's an agreement between the two parties. So I'm hopeful that there is some arbitration between the two parties to gain some and lose some and show some respect, and then move on from that. That's my hope. So I think that it'll be something good will come from this. I'm hoping. We'll see.
Would everyone accept a massive fine rather than a ban?
I'll take it. Yeah. I'll take it, man. I'll take it fine.
You accept the fine, you're still admitting guilt.
Exactly. I'm not bothered either way. If either comes to, it shows that they've lied to us all along as a club, and it don't matter whether. Yeah, it's true.
From a business perspective, think about the owners. From a business perspective,
they'll take the 2 years.
Without, I don't know.
Because Salt Lake are going to invest into the club even if we do get banned with all the Champions League funding. So I think they'd rather take that. Oh, Silver Lake, not Salt Lake.
Yeah. I don't know if Silver Lake is for the CFG as a whole, not necessarily for the club. But I think the owners will negotiate and figure out what to do. They're businessmen. So they'll figure out something. They'll have to.
Okay.
We'll see.
We will see. That brings us to the end of part 1 of the Friday Night Social. I'll keep my powder dry for another day on that answer. I think you all know my thoughts on it anyway. But anyway, listen, I want to say a massive thank you to the guys. This is part 1. Don't forget, part 2 will be coming out probably in the next 12 to 24 hours after you're watching this. But don't forget, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and look out for part 2 coming soon. We'll see you soon.